All right, here we go. Lee and I were just talking before we started the camera. Like, this is, well, let's show you. Like, I mean, right now, 2-1. It was 1-1 up until about, I think, 45 seconds left.
Yeah, last minute of play there. Crazy.
And, the first goal brought on by Mitch Young was an amazing. Oh, actually, I think you got some numbers for me here. 4,636 in attendance here tonight.
Wow.
That's got to be a record. We've been 4,000 plus for like 18
I think
games.
since January or something.
4,636. Thanks to Steve for that. We've been saying it for weeks. The attendance from the fans and the support from the fans, all things considered, has really been amazing.
Absolutely. We've been talking about it for pretty much all season. The support that this community has, win or lose, for this Sarnia Sting team has been amazing. And everyone wants to come out to enjoy this ride one last time.
Well, why not? They come off the momentum from last year, Lee, with a strong, not quite the finish we wanted, but a strong finish against London. Came out strong here at the beginning of the season with, I think, the fans kind of unexpectedly surprised because young team, green team, all that sort of stuff. But, I mean, with a score like 2-1, it's really nothing to be ashamed of against this team, Saginaw.
Oh, absolutely
I
not.
mean, it's second in the conference, first in the division, right? So
they're pretty much they're making a move kind of the same as Sarnia Sting last year. They're selling off everything to make a run for it this year. They're going not only for, the OHL championship, they're making a run at that Memorial Cup. They know they're already in it, so they're doing everything they can for that. And the results, what we're seeing here tonight, we're Sarnia Sting. We're second last in our division. We're facing one of the top teams in the entire OHL, and this has been an exciting game. This has been amazing what we've seen. This is not what I was expecting to see tonight with the Saginaw Spirit coming in. Sarnia Sting's playing a great game at both ends of the rink. It's indescribable.
Yeah, it's been interesting, though. Like I say, we'll talk about the first goal. Mitch Young coming off the face-off to the right side of the Saginaw Spirit, and he just kind of came out and shot it in, and it was just like it was a beautiful goal. I will give credit. You got to give credit where it's due, I guess, is the expression. The first goal from Saginaw, way back almost from the red line, and just flew over the top. Pad of, it was a beautiful goal.
It was, and our defense, I don't know who it was that was out there with him, but our defense, whoever it was, got a piece of it too. And that was part of the reason why it went in too, because it was deflected there, just up over the gloves. Nick wasn't expecting that because, defense was there trying to do what they could to block that shot, and they got a piece of it. Yeah,
we've seen some aggression out there from both sides. There was a point where we each had two in the box. 12 minutes and 50 seconds of I don't get the 50-second part, but anyway, 12 minutes and 50 seconds of penalties. And I got to tell you, I was like, they took quite a while to come up with it, and I was like, what's I didn't understand what was taking so long.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Then when they announced the
instigating and
the misconduct, the game misconducts for Cooper Way and that other guy on the Saginaw,
they both got the same.
I don't understand what that was about because we're watching that whole thing go down. And it must have been something said to the refs possibly, or I don't know what was going on. Because Cooper Way and that other guy, all they did, they were standing down there holding on to each other, just keeping each other out of the mess. They weren't fighting each other. They weren't even, I wouldn't even think that you'd be considered that a roughing. So why they each got 10-minute misconduct? I mean, we're not down on the ice. We're not sure what happened, but
and they reviewed. You could see them, at least from my vantage point, you could see where they were, looking at the iPad, the replay, and we got a pretty good view from up above there, right? But it was like some of us, including others up in the suites, were shaking their head what the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck?
But I think most of what they were reviewing was Felak, whether it was going to be a 5 or a 2.
Yeah.
Which, it worked out well. And I think if they would have been another foot closer to the board when contact was made, that 5 would have stuck because he would have launched him right into the boards. But luckily, he just put him down onto the ice.
And we've seen a few other. O'Toole got in there near the end of this period, and we've talked about him recently. Here's a guy who gets in there. He's not he's not a huge guy, but he's big enough to get in there. He's not afraid.
Most of the other Sarnia Sting players, he's a pretty big guy. So
he's not. He's not afraid to get in there. We've seen that just in the last few games there, and I think you've mentioned and Billy and Connor as well have all mentioned What do you like about this O'Toole kid?
I love the aggression. I love that he's finally bringing that physicality to this team that we haven't really seen all season long. With the young guys that we do have, there's not a lot of size there. So it's been kind of nice to see somebody who's willing to actually get their body in there, push these guys around a little bit, because all season long we've been watching these opposing teams just waltz in past our blue line with no physical resistance whatsoever. Now that's changed, and it might only be one player that's kind of making it happen, but at the same time, at least it's finally there now. Cooper Way, I mean, he's a big guy and he's been physical when he has to, but it's not the same. He hasn't been throwing his body around and really making that stand on the blue line like we need to have done, or in the corners when it's time to come out there with the puck. And this O'Toole kid's, he's stepping up. He's that thing we've been lacking. So it's kind of nice.
You see some reaction from Coach Al Letang. I've always praised him and the coaching staff, but him in particular, his philosophies. He's always very calm, but when all that penalty calling was going on there, like they had a few shots of him up there, and he didn't look happy with what was going on there, and that's some of the most emotion we've seen, other than maybe one other time. Hey Barry, how you doing? Good to see you. Other than one other time that I recall, this was surprising to me to see that.
He's usually very just kind of docile and kind of keeps it all calm, cool, and collected. He's just kind of like, it is what it is, unless there's something that really sticks in his back of his mind. It's like, this ain't right, I'm going to say something. And definitely out of character for what he's normally like. But at the same time, if he's really against something, and he's going to speak his mind.
Well, Billy Urchuk, of course, he's a former referee, and he mentioned the fact that, somebody like an Al Letang who doesn't normally say something, as a referee, when he does very strongly, most referees go, ooh, maybe I really did something wrong here, because he never, so again, that was interesting to see. And you one side of you might go, well, like, who cares? Like, it's the last, but it's still a hockey game, and there's still an expectation that's been put out there by the coaching staff, by the staff in general. And I think we're seeing strong play tonight, and that expectation so far has been met. This is far from over.
No, absolutely. And like you're saying, Sarnia Sting are not here to lay down for the Saginaw Spirit and pave their way to first place. We're here to be competitive. We're here to play some hockey. If you're here just to kind of show up, put in time, and just go home because you know that this game doesn't mean too much, then you're at the wrong level. You should not be, you got no business playing hockey at this level if that's what you're going to do.
Well, and additionally, you just might not be here next year because, we'll see lots of changes coming up in April. We'll start to see the changes, right, with the draft and everything else. It's an interesting time of year no matter where you are. Like this time, or coming into this time last year, we were coming into playoffs as well, and all that exchange was going on while the playoffs are happening, and that can really have an effect on the locker room. And they, the difference now this year, I think, is because we're not going into playoffs, a lot of these players have to be looking at what's next for me. Like even the overagers, none of them, as Billy Urchuk pointed out, none of them have any contracts yet anywhere, so I don't think.
Schwint is signed on with Florida.
Does he? Okay. Yep. Well, we missed that one.
They sent him back. I was talking with Kai Schwint earlier in the season.
Okay.
And they've signed on with him, and they sent him back down to this level to work on his aggressiveness.
Okay.
And actually, I've been seeing that you can kind of see that in certain games, and he's kind of been stepping up there too.
Yeah.
But he's not a big guy. Like, he's tall, but he's kind of like not a lot of weight there to throw around when we need to, but we have been seeing a little bit of that aggressiveness come out from him, and so that's what he was telling me, that he is signed on with Florida.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up.
Whether or not he's going to play for the big league, for the big team or not, I believe he is involved in the organization.
Yeah, well, and I mean the Sarnia Sting organization, obviously already they're looking around to see who they can bring in here next. I was telling Billy earlier that there was a gentleman and his son here that came from across the border here to meet with. So, it's that time of year where it's almost Christmas time.
Yeah.
Right? But hopefully this year, I think that the Sting will be in a position more of buying than selling.
I think so. We're in a much better position this year than we were like kind of last year.
Yeah.
And especially, we got the draft come. Not only just making moves and stuff and making stuff like that, like the draft is coming up too.
Yeah.
And we're in a very good position in the draft as well. So we're going to see a lot of changes. We're going to see a lot of moves being made, and I think that's only going to be 100% for the benefit of this organization for next season.
Wrap it up into how would you define or describe what we saw this year with this Sting organization?
Like, we've talked about it, young team, rebuild year, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I think this whole team this year has exceeded any expectations that any of us could have had.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, when you look at the record, it hasn't been a winning record, but nobody expected a winning record.
I think we got more than a lot expected.
I think we did so well this year. This team did amazing this year. They played a lot of great, even some of our losing efforts, they put out an amazing effort and played some great hockey all season long. Couldn't be prouder of this team.
Yeah.
So happy to have witnessed all. It doesn't. The win-loss record at this point doesn't matter. All I look back on is how great of every single time they stepped on the ice. Sometimes they were a little bit lazy. Sometimes,
I was going to say, I don't know I'd 100%
position.
agree. Like, even the coaches
just on the whole,
would say,
yes,
there's a few times, hey, guys, you're not showing up,
Yeah, obviously, good times and bad times. But I think on the whole, for the whole season, I think they exceeded expectations.
Yeah. Well, it certainly shows with the fan turnout here today of over 40, just north of 4,600 fans in attendance here tonight at the Sarnia Sting. Our last home game. It's bittersweet. Considering the fact that we took out Saginaw last year to keep moving forward. It'd be really nice to finish the last home game, not just with a win because of home, but because against Saginaw. It kind of has some significance there. So don't forget, we'll have the live post-game press conference for you after. But coming up, Connor Burke will join me. Second period intermission. Infomercial. Next time.
And be sure to look for me tomorrow night in the stands in Flint. We're going down to.
Oh, are you?
We're going down to watch the last game of the season.
Okay, so. Awesome. Maybe you can take some pictures and share. And by the way, get your 50-50 tickets. I got mine. My last chance to win a whole bunch of money.
He's got a ticket that's going to be in the garbage by the end of the night.
Right.
Because the winners are right here.
Yeah, okay. I already paid them off. You're done. Okay, well, that's going to be it. Lee, thanks so much for joining me this season. It's been a lot of fun having you on here. I'm sure we'll probably have him back next year. We'll see. We have to renew his contract there as well. All right.
Can we negotiate the terms a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay you triple next year.
I was going to go for double. I'll take triple, though.
Yeah,
that's
no
awesome.
problem. I'll give you 5 times more. How about that?
I'm not sure I'm worth that much, but if you're willing to dish it out, I'll take it.
All right, that's going to be it. We're about 2 minutes away now for the Sarnia Sting to come back out against Saginaw. 2-1 right now for Saginaw, and we'll see you post-game after Connor Burke shows up next time. Here we go. Live from the concourse, as always, with the Sarnia Sting, I'm David Burrows. This is my good friend, Lee Bazeley. 1, 2, 3, go Sting, go!